Aloha. I'm so happy to see everybody today and to be here with my new friend Kubra from Brussels, right?
Yes, I'm based in Brussels.
And can you tell us your name for me, please?
Of course, it's a little hard. I am Kubra Ozguvenc. My surname is even harder, and I live in Brussels. I'm originally from Turkey, and today we're gonna share so many beautiful and special things with you, Emily. Thanks for the opportunity.
I'm so glad to have you here. Um, I like your whole demeanor. You just feel so comfortable to talk to, and I know you've got some wonderful things to offer to us. That my podcast, Grief and Happiness, deals with people who aren't necessarily happy now, but would sure like to be. And there are ways to go about doing this, and I think that you can help us on our way. So, what can you tell us?
Well, if we are going to talk about happiness, first of all, I would like to mention that I loved your story and it is incredible and inspiring. So I wanted to honor it while we start. My story about happiness is, well, it is mostly about worthiness. And what I say as when we met, as explained to you as well, I believe that we are here to experience a life. We are here to evolve and evolve emotionally. And while we are doing this, happiness is just a parameter actually that shows us we are okay, we are doing good. And beside this, trying to be happy all the time is tiring. Instead of trying to be happy all the time, we're supposed to understand why we're not happy, why we're feeling different right now, because each emotion needs to be honored and needs to be understood by the person who is experiencing it. And I'm a big fan of happiness, yet I don't agree with people who is trying to be happy all the time. Instead, we need to have that grief period if we need to do. Yeah.
I understand that. It's if you have anything all the time, like if you ate your favorite chocolate ice cream all the time, it wouldn't be so good anymore. You get tired of it. So
Yes.
it's important to, as important as happiness is, you appreciate it more when you realize that you haven't had it and then you have it again. And the idea of feeling worthy of happiness, I think, is so important, because lots of times people who are dealing with grief think that somehow they may have done something wrong, somehow they got themselves into this situation where they're so sad. And when they realize that that's not really the story, that they can really do something about being able to feel better, then that's a great gift to them.
Yeah. And you know what I tell my audience, my clients most of the time? What I'm telling is our emotions are our golden compass and they lead us through our life purpose, through our potential. And it is mostly the unpleasant emotions that doing us this, navigation thing. But sometimes especially with some clients, I catch it and I share with them that their happiness is also leading them to somewhere, because sometimes um, if there is a very small thing that normally wouldn't make us happy, and if we reacted in a very joyful and happy way, it also tells us there is something we need to dig in actually. So as you said, experiencing the happiness and before that experiencing the grief is so much important.
That's right. I believe that. And you mentioned that, like, life's purpose. And that's what really changed everything for me, because I discovered after my second husband died that I thought, okay, now what? You know, I'd had my life pretty well mapped out for me with what I was doing and what I was involved in, and everything changed drastically after he died. And I just felt like I need to be doing something that I felt good about, something that would make me smile, something that I could help other people with. And the more I reached out to other people to help them, hold them up, um, really made a difference for me. And that got me really onto the path of what I'm doing now, was helping people with dealing with loss by finding ways to be happy. And it's not all happy. I do the writing aspect of it too, where I have people write about things so they can really explore their feelings and sometimes even find their worthiness, as you were mentioning, uh,
Mhm.
that it's okay for them to be happy. It's okay for them to smile. They don't have to be very sad for the rest of their lives.
Exactly. Uh, yeah, this is why I think the journey through our worthiness is important, because without getting over this grieving or happy, like getting happy with no reason, actually, it's okay to be happy. But I'm here trying to mention this happiness with, you know, a hit, with a pulse within us and trying to tell us something. Okay, you are here right now getting over something, but you need to get closer and see what's going on. It is like, for example, if someone you did not expect to respond, you responds and you get happy, it is actually not a big deal, but you get incredibly happy. And there we see that the person we are talking to right now, that in that moment, actually means a lot to us. And I don't know, at that moment we're supposed to see where we are located ourselves, where we feel our, I don't know, um, well, well, hopes.
Yeah,
I forgot what I was saying. Sorry for
no,
that.
I understand that. I do that sometimes too. I
Oh,
find that too many things collide in my brain at the same moment, and that kind of knocks them all out. So I can't remember exactly what I was saying.
well, it is 9 p.m. here. That also affects. But sorry,
Yes,
sorry for that. Okay.
yes, with Kubra in Brussels and me in Maui, we're a great distance apart as far as time. So
Yeah.
our just natural clocks make a difference for me. I don't think I could do an interview at 9 at night. I'm just too tired by that point. So
Well, yeah, yeah, it's a little, it's getting harder, especially when you're talking all day long about the same subject. Also, today I had a couple of interviews, and I had some clients that we were talking about also happiness and how they can feel worthy about themselves, because as you know, I'm working with people who are trying to reach their potential, who are trying to unleash their potential. And while we are doing this, actually, we need to go through a process. And in this process, one of the steps is self-love. And I declared this month as a self-love month, because, you know, I'm not good at celebrating the dates like birthdays or Valentine's days. These kind of determined dates are not a good match for me. So I prefer to celebrate random days, random things, like it could be anything actually. And but I wanted to do something special. So I decided to choose this month's topic as self-love. And I was telling people that without loving ourselves, we cannot actually love others as well. And as human beings, what we are seeking in this life is basically being a part of the community and being loved by others, and um, I don't know, somehow, being a part of a bigger plan. And this is what makes us happy. But many of us coded, we have some subconscious codes and limiting beliefs that are that were seeded us in our childhood, and today we are, as adults, um, doing things that were seeded back then. And I see many people who are not happy with their jobs or partners or type of the relationship they are having in their lives, because they were taught this is the right way to experience it. Yet, uh, it doesn't have to be that way. And the interesting thing for me is, there are many people who targeted something. They have goals in their lives, like it could be a job, it could be a partner, this person, or it could be anything. And they work for it. They work hard and they reach it. Then we have unhappy adults who achieved anything they wanted, and they start questioning why they are feeling unhappy even though they have everything they asked for.
I see that too. That's such a valid point. I have always thought of it as, there were lots of times in my life when I said, well, if only I had this, or if only I did that, or if only I could. And then it would get there and I'd have it and it goes, well, now what? Then I get into, well, now that I have this, if only I got this, then things would be better. And that never works, because it's nice to
Yeah.
focus on goals and do them, but the only way that they really work is with self-love. You've got to really feel good about yourself, recognize your value, and value to you, not just value to the world, but you're valuable to yourself, and what you can do and what you can experience. So once we get that, then it's not, if only I earn $1 million, it's rather, if only I do something every day that makes me happy, and that happiness rubs off on the people around me. That's the
Yeah.
sort of thing you can feel really good about, and you can build on that. Where the other things, it's always just grasping for something that's just beyond your reach. That self-love is where it all starts.
Yeah, exactly. And many people, especially during the COVID period, they came up with a situation that normally in our daily life before COVID, we were so good because we had many escape doors. We were busy, we didn't have to deal with our inner speaks, and we were okay by avoiding the sound in our heads. But during the COVID, we had to deal with them all, and I see many people around. They are feeling it's too late for them, especially people who is over like 50, 60, or even more, and they think that they are well, they cannot restart something because it's too late for them. Yet, what I see and what I experience with my clients, it's the opposite. Happiness can be achieved anytime, but not as a goal, but as a side effect. It's great. It's great to have. It's great to be happy. Yet our goal shouldn't be being happy in that moment or whatever we are doing, but instead, if we can see what our nature requires from us, and also what is aligned with our frequency. It could be it doesn't have to be a big goal. Actually, I met a woman who is making hats for the children who is living in these houses shelters as refugees. And I met some other person who is doing sandwiches and taking them like weekly to the homeless people on the street. Those are incredible skills for those people. This gives a purpose and happiness as well. But I think here we again come to the point what you said. What I see common in these people actually, they all went through a big pain, and then they were able to find happiness in small but consistent activities.
That's right. It's all, I think, a lot a matter of focus on who you choose to be with, where you choose to be. If you're always around unhappy people, that rubs off. So if you can think of places that you can be where you'll feel better. I also think that you mentioned about the pandemic and how people have been dealing with that. I've heard so many people say that they're so sad because they aren't with the people that they want to be with, and they aren't
Yeah,
doing the kinds of things that they used to do. And to me, I just keep thinking that's just a matter of perspective. Yeah, sure, I would love to be doing some of the things that I used to do, but that's not the only way I can feel good. That's not the only way I can be positive, how I can fulfill what I consider my purpose in life to be. I can focus on things that are good and beautiful and can help. For instance, I live in Maui, in Hawaii, and we're very, very remote. And that causes problems with things like the pandemic with getting food to the island because we're very food
yeah,
insecure. They don't grow that much food here on the island. And so we rely on ships and barges bringing food to us. And when the shelves were pretty bare when the pandemic first started, I said, okay, I've got more land than I need. I'm going to be planting big gardens on there. And now I'm growing all kinds of fruits and vegetables that I share with my neighbors. I don't charge them for it. If somebody needs food, I give it to them. And the whole process, I can't say I'm always happy pulling weeds, but I'm happy to know that the results from what I'm doing is going to be beautiful, and it's going to be serving people and helping people. So and I don't have to have somebody with me doing the gardening. It's something that I can do by myself and enjoy being outside, enjoy being in the sunshine, enjoy popping a fresh little tomato in my mouth because it just tastes so good. So it's a matter of mindset a lot. If you think you're always going to be unhappy or that you're not worthy of being happy, then that's exactly what you're going to get. But if you focus on what's beautiful, what you love,
yeah,
what is the best thing in your community where you live, then you'll be happier.
exactly. And the thing is, I think in the world we are living in, especially before the pandemic, well, I would like to call it here pandemic, we were we were very good at slurring over our lives, as we mentioned earlier. And I would like to bring an awareness to our audience today, who have been who have been getting such situations related to pandemic or related to some personal issues. Well, if we are here and experiencing something, if we are struggling, doesn't matter what it is, if we don't feel happy and if we struggle, it is because the universe or emotions or the God, however you call it for yourself, something is sending you a message, especially if we are talking about a physical problem, because our physical body is like a mailbox, and it sends us mails through our from our energy body, our emotional part. And if we struggle, we can see that in our hearts or in our minds or in our physical body, whichever we are struggling with. It is telling us there is a hidden gift within us, and this hidden gem waiting within us to be discovered.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. And so here they can ask, we can ask, I asked myself at least, how I can unleash this gem, how I can see what it is, because before I was so distracted to see what is going on within myself. Well, when I'm talking about my age, 19 or so, it was like 50 years ago from now. I was so distracted. I didn't know what was going on within me, and I didn't know what I supposed to do in life. This is where I studied science and I became a scientist, and I was so determined to what I planned for my future. Yet life took me a totally different point, and now I have a different profession. Since 5 years, I've been working with people and helping them discover their hidden gem. And what I see during this process for myself and for people I work with, or people I support in my family or around me, it is always this struggle here to tell us, as we talked in the beginning, our emotions are our golden compass, and this compass always shows us what we're supposed to take out next, which stone, because we are already valuable, we are already worthy, and we are already a being of love. But there are some obstacles to take out. And when we do that, we are getting better day by day, step by step. With each breath, we start recognizing things, we start feeling and seeing our power, because we are powerful beings at the same time. And happiness is actually giving us the strength to discover this power.
Oh, that's beautiful. Now, you mentioned that you have a gift for the people who are listening. What will that do?
Yeah. I started a movement called Be Boldly You, and I would love you all who are listening to this podcast to join this movement. You can find a freebie, join this email challenge and support yourself through it. But let me explain it first what it is. Be Boldly You is a movement to encourage people to set healthier boundaries in their relationships, so they can create a comfort zone for themselves, and they can discover what their needs are, what their nature requires from them, and what their true gift is. Because we have many gifts actually, but they are the smaller ones. They are just kind of nurturing. They're here to nurture ourselves so we can activate this bigger one. And this is why we all start at a point but end up in a totally different place, in our job or profession or family or whatever it is, because we start and step by step we reach to that point. And in this freebie, it's a 5 days email course. Actually, I call it Be Boldly You Challenge, Be Boldly You Movement. Each day people will receive some tasks and explanations about the day, and each day has a topic. The first day is about self-notice. It is about noticing our nature, not seeing how and what we require from ourselves. And the second step is self-acceptance. It is the thing, we notice many things about ourselves. It's like you have well, I don't like the term good and bad, as Rumi says, out beyond ideas of right doing and wrong doing. I love that quote. And but noticing our flaws is something, and accepting is a different and bigger thing, actually. And in the second step, they will receive some tasks to accept their flaws as they are, going forward to this next step. It's self-compassion. And I think self-compassion is important because for many reasons it's super important, of course, but for having more self-love, we're supposed to have more self-compassion for ourselves. And self-love and self-compassion is something that we can share with others as well, because we cannot, as I said in the beginning, we cannot love someone if we don't love ourselves. We cannot have compassion for others if we don't have it for ourselves. So these two steps are quite important and grow together. And then the last step, we are talking about self-worth, and there will be some boosters and sharings about these 5 steps in these 5 days. So I hope they will love it as the other participants who joined it already and sent me many feedbacks, love notes, and
That's
so.
wonderful. Yeah, for those of you who are listening, this will be in the show notes, and all you'll have to do is click and you can have this for yourself. And there will also be other links for Kubra there so that you can get in touch with her and find out more about what she does and just enjoy her lovely self. She's a great person to talk to and spend time with. So thank you very much, Kubra, for being here with me today. Is there any last thing you'd like to say, or?
Yes, I would like to say one thing. If you are struggling, please don't consider it something consuming or exhausting. No, please remind yourself that that emotion is there to show you have a bigger potential than you experienced today. Love you all and hope to see you.
That's so beautiful. Thank you. And I love you all too. And I look forward to seeing you next week here again on my podcast, Grief and Happiness. And be sure to check all the links in the bio for all that information. I'll see you soon.